Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to more Wargame Red Dragon Ranked. As the title implied, a couple of fast games today. Speedruns, if you will. I'm not intentionally trying to speedrun these games, but hey, if I can find an opening in the enemy's lines, or if I can deliver such a hammer blow that they might roll over, then why not? I could use the points from the win to increase my rank even further. Today I am operating as Major Global Hawk, and I'm fighting Sergeant Sierra 116. I'm operating as Baltic Motorized, and I'm going to go for a Bravo Alpha push. It means I'm going to have some slight defenses over here on Foxtrot. This is going to be a HGM group and an Erkois Raya Yekeri. Over here, all the way on the left, making sure I don't lose the buildings here, because from here you can still get an opportunity to flank there and start flanking both Golf and Fox, so that they don't park a CV there. But the main fight is going to be happening in Bravo and Alpha. To that end, I have XA-185KT, XA-180s, this is the Raniko Yekeri, Ito-90 anti-air defense, and we have a couple of Charioteers for fire support, and XA-180 with ATGM. There is a method to my madness here. These, and these are motorized. These are mechanized. So arguably these should be at the back of the queue, but motorized all travels at the same speed. So the reason why I have them like this is so that the KTs arrive first. If these die, it's unfortunate, but I would rather have the first wave get blown up in the form of KTs than XA-180s with the far more expensive and more valuable Raniko Yekeri. So that is why I sent these guys in first, and I also tend to throw in a couple of recoilless rifle jeeps, which go up even further towards the front. So again, they absorb the fire first. It is these little tidbits, these little tricks that I've slowly started to pick up as I play more and more of Ranked. The other flank is going to have a Scott 2, that is an Spado group. They're going to go here. T-55 Recon is going to sit over there. The Spado are going to shoot anything that comes down the road. The T-55 is going to sit there and provide firing or covering fire for any angle like that. And of course, I have a Salamandra, in order to scout out enemy positions so that I know what he's bringing, where he's bringing it, and how to maneuver. I also start with an extra CV, and that is going to go right to the two-pointer, which I really enjoy as it puts additional pressure. Now, I immediately get information about the enemy, in the sense that he has a infantry CV because it wasn't offloaded, and that's going to come in useful a bit later. I offload my CV, I got the Mi-17 moving. These guys took a little longer to get moving. I should have just selected all and move. But it doesn't really matter for these two, because they just are going to be going all the way over there. It's not far. Salamandra moving up ahead. Scott 2 dashing out. T-55 I mismanaged, and I think I put it on standard attack move or something. It should be fast moving there. Okay, so we got UH-1s. Considering the numbers and direction of travel, I think he's going to try and drop off there. Now what I can do is try to destabilize the enemy, and for that I tend to have this guy. The MiG-21 MF. Rocket pod aircraft. Fires 4 rocket pods with 11 HE, that is a hell of a blow. Dealing with 30% accuracy, and you generally get enough hits on any anti-air piece to immediately blow it up. So, with the Salamandra, all the way from over there, spotting the anti-air, I decide to go for it. Both missiles miss by some miracle. Unfortunately, I don't actually get the anti-air, but they do get me. Now, I don't actually think I got anything there. Maybe I shook something up, but that's about it. This guy goes to the wrong place. I should have micromanaged that better. But I did get the information that part of his forces are there. The other part is over there. I'm probably going to rocket down this road. So this push can just continue. And that's good. I really like that. The more observant among you might have noticed that there is one critical thing missing here, and that is reconnaissance. This could have gone entirely sideways because I don't have recon. Should have had recon, but once the Salamandra was under threat from the Hawks, I decided to pull the recon away. So I should have had different recon in this group. Raniko off to the front and trying to get potentially shots in on whatever's coming down here. You can see that now the T-55 is coming in, but all of this was supposed to be stopped by the Spado. Unfortunately, I took way too long figuring out that, oh crap, these are in the wrong position. So, yeah, we're gonna have to deal with this some other way. T-55 shooting it out with an enemy tank. That is not something that my T-55 does very well, especially considering it is 2 enemy tanks. But fortunately, I kind of have them between my forces over here, my Spado over there, my T-55 over there, so I know where they are, and they're more or less contained. The only thing that is not contained from him is my 2 XA-185 KTs. Normally, I would stop here. I would just stop, take the buildings with the infantry, and hold. Because once the enemy is relocating his forces like this, I would try and push over to Gregory, push over to Fedor. This is more of a distraction. However, it's a sergeant, so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to push it, I'm going to see where I can get to. And considering the timer on the replay, you might already figure out where this is going. XA-180s shooting up one of the PIP-2s, Hawks, and of course it's not going to be long before that tank shows up. But with the anti-air stunned, the XA-180s get some support from another MiG-21 MF, and that wipes out a good number of infantry. There is So Chung-Soo being dropped off early. The only reason I can figure for that is that I did get the transports with the early MiG-21 MF strike. And yeah, you can see that a KM-132 Napalm APC is going to torch these guys, and that's fine. Charioteers wiping out So Chung-Soo. Hebyung 90 are, well, pretty much in an opportunity to move directly towards center. And over here I got the KTs that I push with. I can see a helicopter with 2 chevrons for veterancy coming up. So that is his CV. And it is infantry CV. So this is the transport bird that just took off from this building. So I shoot it down. Yekiri move in. And he surrenders. 2 minutes, 50 seconds. Not bad. I killed 410 prawns, he killed 105. Quick win. Why did I take 6 minutes or 7 minutes to cover this? Well, because I wanted to give a bit more information and background about why I'm doing certain things. Alright, on to the next. Alright, next round. I am fighting a major called Gestaft. I fought him the match exactly before this one, and that's when he won, so I was very interested in getting revenge. My tactic, same deck, is going to send a light Polish infantry unit over there to defend it. That is just a medium-range NTGM. We're going to have the BMP-1 TJJ go over here and block off the entire area there. This thing comes equipped with a Grom as well as a Concourse. Start it with another CV. And I get a Scott 2 with Spado going all the way over there, or potentially there, depending on how the battle develops. Now, he knows sort of what I'm playing. That is based on the supposition that I am playing the same deck. And I am. I know that he was playing Dutch-German coalition. And he likes to send out this escort with a Tiger. So the Apache escort with the Tiger. And I think that as a bit of a lightning rod, he sends in the F-14G. Sorry, the F-104G. And that does work, because my Sokols have both taken a bit of damage and wasted a few of their Iglas. But the job gets done. I do push away the Tiger and the Apache. And I am able to take out the Peace Rhine, which also decided to come in and play. At this point, Ito 90 to the front line. It's a bit too far to the front line, in fact. And, well, I wasn't exactly expecting on taking this town. You see, the forces over here... Actually, sorry, no, with this playthrough I was planning on taking the town. I've done so many ranked games just the day before I'm recording this video that I am trying to figure out what happened when. Anyway, you can see that his entire force is over here. Tiger, Apache Escort, 2 YPR 765s, Fuch, YP408s, Leopard 1A4s, there's the F104, and he also had a Peace Rhine. So that flank is empty, this flank is largely empty, everything's over here. The Tiger has to go down as quickly as possible. And in order to do that, I'm trying to get the Erkois Raya Yekiri into range, because that is a very valuable target. And I really want to make sure that thing goes away. Terramustis are dying over here. Especially against the Leopard and Leopard Verkenning, they cannot really do that much. But you can see that his Apache Escort went down, his Tiger went down. He still has infantry in here, but I have better infantry in here. I have my Raniko Yekiri, which have survived. So I can make use of those again. Over here we got the Mi-17 that dropped off my CV to support The infantry starts dying all over the place. He's trying to push through on the side of the town, but that's when the BMP comes in and the Salamandra pitches it from the other side. There's the infantry. Stoottroepen 95. These guys are pretty tough, but I have fire support and they do not. So in this situation, the Rannikko-Jakeri will win this encounter, simply by being better infantry and having fighter support. There you go. The Stoottroepen were with 20, now they're with 8. And I can just dwindle these guys further. There is, however, a double group, they do take out my MS-17, of Fliegerfaust. So I'm currently in a bit of a problem with my helicopter support. And these tanks are getting awfully close. So, order of business, have the Rannikko take out the Stoottroepen, and then push into the building and start wiping out these tanks, because my HEGM has spent all of its missiles quite a while ago. As for the right flank, nothing happening there. The Terramustis have retreated into the forest in case I need them later. And considering his entire force is over here, I'm going to try and push these guys along the road and just move towards his spawn. Over here, I have another one of my favorites coming in, the MiG-21 MF, as you have seen in the previous. And I'm going to go for the Flakpanzer Gepard A2. However, I miss. Barely. The thing survives on 1 hit point, but I do lose the aircraft and I lose my HEGM. At this point, it's going to be down to the Rannikko-Jakeri to try and engage the Leopard Verkenning, because this is really the only spotter that he still has, aside, of course, from the infantry. Leopard Verkenning, very good optics, infantry medium optics, tanks also medium optics. I misplayed the Ito over there. The Ito never should have been there. Ito should have been pulled back. So, Rannikko have successfully wiped out the Stoottroepen. And now I can use the Rannikko-Jakeri to take out the Leopard Verkenning, sniping an important target there. And I can probably do the same thing if I just jumped to this building and dealt with the Leopard 1A4s. A couple of HEGMs coming in, but these guys got way too close in the process. So sadly, the HEGM over here dies, while still inside the transport. And over here, the Terramustis encountered an Apache escort and were unable to deal with it. Another Apache escort. I get it. I mean, my fire support is fragile. These guys got rocket pods, these guys got their M230. They're gonna probably mop me up pretty quick. So I get it that he's using this, but I still have a Sokol. And that's something that is going to help me out a lot. That is, if the Flakpanzer Gepard doesn't wipe it out. Over here, Salamandra, having flown back to base and rearmed, is capable of wiping out both of the Leopard 1A4s. That means that he's going to have to either wait or do a half-assed push over there with the Leopard Verkenning and 7.62s. Sorry, 7.65 25s. There's another push coming in here, or another offensive-ish. YP408s, YP765s. These are all 25mm. I don't want to engage the infantry. I want to make sure these vehicles die. So I'm getting these guys ready for an offensive. Now, what tends to happen is that the Rannikko get into a firefight first. And that's a firefight with the enemy infantry. But I want them to take out the transport, so I take the machine gun and I click it and I turn it offline. This way they're only going to use their assault weapon and the Appalachian. That way I can wipe out these transports quickly, do some damage against the transports, potentially spook the infantry, and then get the hell back. That is, if the Rannikko would actually just get into the building. But sometimes they don't do that. There you go, that's both of the transports dead. We're engaging a new transport. We're trying to, but that transport... Sorry, no, the transport already died. And now I'm going to try and pull back, because I got what I came for. I got the transports down, I got his fire support down. And I believe that the Apache escort died to the last missiles of the Rannikko-Jakeri. So that means it's fairly safe to use more helicopters here, or so I thought. Up until the point where the Fliegerfaust said, yeah, no it isn't. So, quite brazenly, I bombed the Fliegerfaust. I bombed the Stoottroepen. And of course I lose the Hawk. I have another Hawk there. The Flakpanzer Gepard still on 1 hit point. But I saw that there was more and more stuff coming up here, and I really did not like that. HEGM trying to get the kill on the Flakpanzer. The Flakpanzer is calm, and supposedly trying to get resupplied. This little beauty shot over here was the Seed aircraft that sent one missile in front of the target and another missile behind the target, so it is going to be down to the HEGM to actually kill this thing. And of course the Fliegerfaust being quite accurate at this point after having dealt a lot of damage, take it out. The Flakpanzer Gepard is no more, thanks to the HEGM infantry, and over here we got the Stoottroepen, which are not yet inside the building, and now I have the machine gun allowed, and I can start dealing more damage. Over here, not much happening. There's the Apache escort again, and there goes the last of the Teramustis, so be it. Kill his resupply vehicle. Stoottroepen, very heavily panicked. My calm Raniko Yekeri, not so panicked. And the Stoottroepen again die pretty quick. Now he does another offensive over here for the F-104G, just a gun run. I'm not sure exactly why. It doesn't really net him anything, but I think he just had it. Over here, the F-104 is getting engaged by the Sokol and almost shot down as well. And I had two XA-185 KTs, which were off on the flank, trying to get into Dimitri to secure that. But as they were available and there was no fire support for blue, I used their autocannons to quickly mop up the last of the Stoottroepen. Over here we have a little bit of an issue in the form of a couple of 7.65 25mm, and they are temporarily stunned, but I want to get this building back. The F-104 gets killed by the Sokol with its last missile, and over here we have the Apache escort that just took out all of my Teramustis. Sadly at this point my Erkoi Raya are out of missiles, so I cannot shoot them down. What I can find over here is a couple of Stoottroepen. As per usual strategy, I lock them down with the infantry, with the Yekeri. This way, this means that their C7 and Minimi is firing at the Yekeri and they cannot use their AT4 at the same time. So when they're properly locked in, that's when the KTs can come in and they can start wiping out stuff, like the transport, and after that, the infantry. And you can see he's not actually managing this, he's probably managing this. And immediately the Stoottroepen die. I'm still at a +2. He's flying an Apache escort over, and at this point I have offloaded Erkoi Raya Yekeri, because I was expecting more and more and more of these guys, and I was right. They do, however, wipe out a good number of the Yekeri, but not before long they die themselves. Another Apache escort, sorry, no, not another one, it's the same one as the guy from over there. I have no HEGMs, but this fresh guy. So he's going to have to be able to take out the leopards. And otherwise it's going to be down to the Yekeri. But I don't think he's going to really have any opportunity to use these, because they're fire support units. And, well, there's nothing to fire support at the moment. Over here, the F-104G gets taken out by a fighter. I was getting kind of annoyed with that thing as a distraction, so I decided to take it out. Over here, I have pushed the infantry out of my area. The light infantry from the Polish with their Metis dealing with a Leopard Verkenning, blinding him even more. T-55 did take a hit from the tank, but otherwise fine. And at this point he has so few units left that he really cannot do a whole lot. He is trying nonetheless. There goes another transport, and more grenadiers get offloaded. Apache escort, like I said, I cannot deal with it at the moment. And what was that? That was just a resupplier. Whatever. I'm not sure what he wants to kill with that Peace Rhine. I don't have really anything that valuable. Yeah, here, this is what I was talking about earlier. The Raniko just were ordered from this building to this. But they decide to go on some sort of merry field chase, and they all die to the Apache. Absolute rubbish. I'm not sure why this happened, but these guys should have just crossed the road, taken the building, and be done with it. It's not what happened. MiG-29 913 coming in, this time on air patrol. I want to make sure that either his fighter dies or potentially his Peace Rhine dies. And I think I have dispirited this guy quite enough to make sure that he's going to surrender in a minute. There we go. 913 takes out the fighter without taking a scratch, so I can evac that. And also, as I'm clearing out his fighters, my planes might be able to take out their Apaches a bit more. At this point, the Erkoi... They're actually not inside the building, whereas they should have been. But they're hiding in this little strip of forest, if you want to call it that. I mean, well, dense hedged farmland, sure. They're hiding, which is probably the thing that actually saved them. Because if you move them into the building, then they might be a little safer. But from this position, they can actually start wiping out the leopards. The Apache escort gets taken out by the Sokol. The leopard gets suppressed by the Sokol. The Stoottroepen gets suppressed by the XA-180. And I think that is about it. I have secured this, making sure that he cannot get any CV in there. I'm already taking a +2. I get half the points that I need to win. And at this point, he just goes, yep, no, that's enough. GG. Scored 600 points more in kills than I lost, so that is very nice. Most important kills, I would say, came from the Ito 90, the Apache Escort with Fighter and the Tiger. This blinded him, up until the point where, of course, he had the Leopard Verkenning, which died to the Karuppiah Yikiri. A Terra Musti apparently took out a Lux. I don't even recall that happening. And yeah, these were able to do some work. A couple of transports and a Flag Panzer Gepard. Aside from that, the MiG took out 2 planes. So not terribly special. So, quick match. Can I do it faster? Let's have a look. Last match of the vid, we get Colonel Scyther. Now, this was going to be an interesting match because I just watched a video from Blitzwar and he was fighting Scyther. Scyther was then using USSR Airborne. So I thought, okay, USSR Airborne. That's interesting because that means I'm going to need more anti-air. My play over here is to go for the town over there. It's, for me at least, a pretty classic strategy. I want to get that town. I want to secure Anna. I want to make sure he doesn't get too much into Delta and have some defenses over there in Fox, or rather outside of Fox, to make sure he cannot capture that. So, the start, 6 Terra Mustis, making sure I either absorb fire or I make sure that these vehicles do some damage themselves. I mean, they're 10-point vehicles. If they get essentially 1 kill, then they've already recouped themselves. KTs, XA-180s, another XA-180 with an ATGM. This is Yikiri, Ranako Yikiri, ATGM, and Ito. Ito far, far, far behind because I'm expecting this guy to be very important. Over in the middle, ATGM and Karuppiah Yikiri to make sure I get some anti-air defense here, as well as spotting, as well as anti-GM capability. And over to the far right, BMP-1TJJ and an XA-180. More importantly, we have 2 Sokol. Normally I would fly probably 1. This time I decided to go with 2 because I thought, well, he might be playing USSR Airborne again. Salamander at the spot for everybody and everything. And the one unit that you cannot see yet might expect at this point is the MiG-21 MF. Considering I'm fighting a Colonel, I don't want to tick early, so I haven't bought a CV for Fedor just yet. I'm just going to try and focus on capturing this, and then, eventually, when I'm secure enough, I'll get a CV to Fedor, potentially to Anna, and we'll just see how the game plays out. I mean, I'm not one of those people who has a perfectly, expertly laid plan from, let's say, the start of the game all the way to the last minute. It just doesn't work like that for me. I have a plan, I have an opener, but after that, I just try and improvise. Now, at this point, I was thinking, okay, here we go again. Anti-air, get ready, because we are fighting airborne. But they're not high enough rank to be airborne. There's the K-50 Akula, which does not have good stealth. His friend does. That's the K-52. There's also an Mi-8, MTV, so that's deadly rocket pods, and pay attention to this. I'm going to highlight this in a minute. 2 Sokols dash forward. I'm keeping the Salamandra back. The Salamandra has very good optics and can just hover back here, spotting everything for me. Sokol's on attack move. Both the Ka-52 and the Ka-50 are armed with air-to-air missiles, but the Ka-52 is firing, the Akula is not yet. Sokols engaging, going once, going twice, killing the Ka-52. I do lose the Sokol here, but just before it dies, it launches a missile, proving to be critical because that is both the Ka-52 and the Ka-50 dead. That right there constitutes about 270, maybe 300 points? I'm not sure. Over here, the Mi-8 MTV goes, and he has more forces coming in. My Mi-17 is now able to start moving forward, but there will be some form of anti-air around. There it is. OSA. So, who are you going to call? The MiG-21 MF that's already airborne. Because I played these matches quite a few times by now. I know more or less when these guys are going to pop up. Virtually everybody has some form of an airborne or an anti-air unit over there. And this is it for him. The Mi-8 over here is, believe it or not, in the process of landing. That is interesting, because now I cannot shoot it with my anti-air. What I can shoot with my anti-air is his with my plane is his anti-air. So the OSA gets blown up by the MiG-21MF. And then the Mi-17 as well as the Salamandra have free reign with their rocket pods. Yes, I'm taking fire from a Screwjet, but I can wipe out the Screwjet. I can make sure that the Terramustis absorb the fire as planned. But now my infantry has all survived. Well, not all of them, but the more important guys have survived. The Raniko-Jekeri. And at this point, you can see T-72Bs. There's a Potnos over there, that's the smoke provider. Raniko, get into the building with some haste, lest you get yourself killed. There we go. And his entire push just crumbled right into my forces. His helicopters died. His T-72Bs don't really have a lot of support anymore. They don't have any anti-air anyway. So I can call on the Salamandra. The MiG-21MF is going for something, but can't quite find it, because the target had already died. Another one already circling, going for the VDV. I'm just trying to completely destroy this guy's opener. That's the plan. Just completely blow it up. On the far right, we have an attack from Spetsnaz GRU with their escorting BTR-90, or rather, the transporting BTR-90. And I am not particularly interested in fighting with this thing. Thankfully, the BMP-1TJJ took it out. But now I have an issue that the Raniko-Jekeri cannot engage the Spetsnaz GRU. Because these guys got an AKS-74U as well as a sniper rifle, and I only have a Jetomatic. But I have friends in high places. The MiG-21MF. So, here it comes. And 4 shots, Spetsnaz dies. And at this point, I'm going to switch to neutral, because he has nothing left. I have almost completely destroyed every single unit that he had. That's the first time something like that has happened for me. The only thing he has left is Gorno, 2 T-72Bs without fire support, without anti-air, without smoke, without recon, without anything, and 1 Conquerors team, and that's it. And a command unit. So he just goes, GG, and he surrenders. And that was a match in 2 minutes and 13 seconds in which I just completely obliterated an opener. Oh man, I was happy with this game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Linked down below is the description, or in the description is the deck itself. It is the Baltic motorized deck. Please don't use it against me, because it is really quite potent. And otherwise, I hope to see you guys out there in ranked. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting down below, and I'll see you soon for more videos.